The night was quiet. The sky above Earth looked normal, filled with stars and silence. But far beyond the moon, something was moving. A massive dark ship gliding through space like a shadow. It made no sound, sent no warning, and showed no sign of attack. Yet inside every government control room, alarms began to scream. Satellites had detected an object larger than any man-made craft. It was not a meteor. It was something alive. Inside that ship sat a figure, tall, silver-skinned, with soft blue eyes that carried both pain and purpose. Her name was Soraya. To her people, she had once been a commander. To herself now, she was only a mother. For 3 long years, Soraya had searched every corner of the galaxy, scanning planets, moons, and stars, all for one reason: to find her child. 3 years ago, during the human-Zyran conflict, she had lost everything. Her planet burned, her people scattered, and in the middle of that chaos, her infant son vanished in an explosion near Earth's orbit. Her scanners had detected a strange anomaly that day. A human baby born at the exact second her son's life signature disappeared. That was her only clue. Since then, she had searched every world where humans lived. None matched. But Earth still called to her. Soraya stood before the ship's viewing window, watching the blue planet below. Her voice was soft, trembling, almost human in tone. "He is here," she whispered. "I can feel him, my child. My heart." Her ship responded with a gentle hum. "Warning. Unauthorized orbit detected. Human satellites observing." "I don't care," she said. "Let them see me. Let them know I am coming." Down on Earth, confusion spread fast. Television screens showed blurry images of a glowing object in the sky. Some said it was an asteroid. Others claimed it was a weapon. Scientists tried to calculate its path, but it didn't move like any natural body. It stopped above Earth's atmosphere and simply stayed there. No radio signal, no communication, only silence. The people of Earth waited, not knowing if they were about to witness peace or destruction, but the ship did not attack. It only watched. Inside her control room, Soraya moved between glowing panels, running scans of the planet below. Her technology could read energy patterns, heartbeats, even the smallest vibration of a human soul. She had built her scanners to detect the same energy signature her son once carried. A rare blue frequency that existed in only one life form in the universe. She scanned millions of humans in seconds, doctors, soldiers, children, and elders, but none matched. "No match found," the ship repeated again and again. Soraya clenched her fists. "He is here. Keep scanning." Hours passed. The ship drifted quietly, its lights dimming as dawn broke over Earth. Soraya leaned against the console, exhausted. Her hope was fading again. Maybe she was wrong. Maybe her son was truly gone. But then suddenly her scanner blinked, a faint signal, weak but real. Energy match, 0.7% detected. Location, North American sector. Soraya's heart pounded. "Show me!" A holographic map appeared, a small city bright with lights somewhere on the east coast of the United States. The scanner zoomed in on a small building, a hospital. Inside, hundreds of humans moved around, unaware of the alien eyes watching them from space. The scanner locked onto one floor, a child's ward. Age 7 years, male, human. The signal was faint but familiar, the same warmth she once felt when holding her baby close. Soraya fell to her knees. Tears, bright and silver, rolled down her face. "After all this time," she whispered, "I found you." Down on Earth, the boy suddenly woke from a deep sleep. His name was Eli. He was small, quiet, with soft brown eyes. That night he had dreamed of fire and stars. In his dream, a tall, glowing woman called his name in a language he didn't know. He opened his eyes and whispered a single strange word: "Mother." Miles above the planet, Soraya smiled through her tears. The word echoed in her mind. She could feel him, truly feel him. The bond between mother and child, it had awakened again. She placed her hand on the glass of her ship and whispered back, "Wait for me, my son. I am coming." But on Earth, not everyone was celebrating. In a hidden military base, a general watched the satellite feed and frowned. "The object hasn't moved," he said. "It's watching us, why?" Another officer replied, "Sir, it's focusing on one location, New York, a children's hospital." The general leaned forward, confused. Why would an alien ship care about a hospital? No one could answer. The camera zoomed in on the glowing craft in the sky. Inside, Soraya's ship began to descend slowly, invisible to human eyes, its cloaking field shimmering like water. She whispered one last time, "This world took him from me once. It will not again." The stars dimmed. The sky turned silver for just a second, and then she was gone. The night sky was clear when Soraya's ship vanished from human sight. No explosion, no sound, just a ripple in the air like heat over desert sand. She had entered the clouds, invisible to radar. Below her, the bright lights of New York spread like veins of gold. Humans rushed through the streets, unaware that something from another world had just stepped among them. Soraya activated her disguise. Her silver skin shifted to a pale human tone. Her glowing blue eyes turned gray, and her long crystal hair became dark like the night. Now she looked like an ordinary woman, tired, lost, and quiet. Only the small device on her wrist, hidden under her sleeve, reminded her of who she really was. It was her life scanner, her only tool to find her child on this strange planet. She landed in an empty alley, the city noise echoing around her. For a moment she just listened. The sound of cars, people laughing, horns, and a baby crying somewhere far away. Every sound felt sharp and confusing. Her world had always been calm and silent, but Earth was loud and alive. She took a slow breath. "So this is what you chose, my son," she whispered. A world of chaos and beauty. Soraya began to walk. The scanner pulsed faintly, showing hundreds of human life signals around her. Each one had a different pattern, a different energy. She focused on the one she had seen from space, the faint blue spark near the hospital. But the signal was weak. She needed to get closer. In the morning light, she walked among the people, blending in, moving slowly through the streets. Humans passed her without a second glance. They didn't see the sadness in her eyes, or the tiny flashes of light that appeared when she touched metal. Her alien nature was perfectly hidden. At the hospital, she stood near the entrance, pretending to be a visitor. Her eyes scanned the building and every floor, every child, every heartbeat. The scanner beeped quietly. The signal was here. The same warm frequency she had followed across galaxies. Her hands trembled. But before she could move, someone spoke behind her. "Ma'am, are you looking for someone?" It was a nurse, young, polite, smiling. Soraya forced a small smile. "Yes," she said softly, "my son. I've been looking for him for a long time." The nurse nodded kindly. "Do you have his name?" Soraya hesitated. A name? Her child's real name was not human. She thought quickly. "Eli," she said. "His name is Eli." The nurse checked her list but found nothing. "Sorry, ma'am, no Eli here today." Soraya nodded and stepped away. Her heart sank. The signal had to be here. Maybe he had already left. She turned to go, but the scanner on her wrist blinked again, brighter this time. The signal was moving. Across the street, a small boy with brown hair was walking with his teacher and a group of children. He was laughing softly, holding a small notebook covered with drawings, stars, planets, and strange symbols. When Soraya saw him, her breath caught in her throat. The energy around him glowed faint blue. It was faint, but it was the same. The same as her son's. She stepped forward slowly. "Eli," she whispered. The boy turned his head for just a second and their eyes met. He looked confused, as if he recognized her from somewhere deep inside his mind. But then the teacher called his name and he turned away. The moment was gone. Soraya wanted to follow him, but something stopped her. A strange noise from the alley nearby. She turned. A black van was parked there, and inside it, 2 men were watching her through cameras. "Target confirmed," one of them said quietly. "She's here." "The alien woman." Another voice came through their earpiece, and deep and calm. "Do not engage yet. Observe only. We need to know what she's after." Soraya didn't know they were watching, but she could feel something. A chill ran through her spine. The air felt different, like invisible eyes were on her. She stepped back into the crowd and disappeared between people. That night, she stayed in an old abandoned subway tunnel. Her scanner showed no clear result. The signal kept fading in and out like a heartbeat too far away to reach. She touched the cold wall and closed her eyes. "He is near," she whispered. "But humans are watching me. They think I am danger." Her ship, still hidden in the upper atmosphere, sent her a soft message. "Warning. Unknown human activity tracking your signal." She replied, "Let them track me. I will not stop." In another part of the city, the 2 agents sat in front of their screens, staring at the image of Soraya's face. "She doesn't look like a monster," one said quietly. The other replied, "Maybe not. But if she's here, there's a reason. And whatever she's searching for, it might destroy us all. Meanwhile, Eli couldn't sleep that night. He sat near his window, looking at the stars. He felt strange, like someone out there was calling his name. He opened his notebook and drew a glowing circle in the sky, just like in his dream. Beneath it, he wrote one word without knowing why: Mother. Far above, Soraya watched the city lights from a rooftop, her face cold and still. The wind blew through her hair as she whispered, "I found you once. I will find you again." The hunt had begun. Morning sunlight slipped through the gray clouds and touched the window of a small orphanage in the city's old district. Inside, children were waking up, laughing, and getting ready for school. Among them sat Eli, quiet and lost in his own thoughts. He was different from the others. Not strange, but somehow older inside. Like his mind carried memories too heavy for his young age. He looked at his small notebook again, the one filled with drawings of stars and strange symbols. He didn't understand where they came from. Every night he dreamed of lights, of voices whispering in a language he didn't know. And every morning he woke up and drew them before they faded away. That day, as he looked at the newest page, something made him stop. His latest drawing showed a tall figure made of silver light. Around her were circles and waves that looked like energy lines. Underneath he had written one word again: Mother. He didn't remember writing it. Down the street, hidden behind a row of old buildings, Soraya watched through her scanner. She had followed Eli's signal all night, tracing the faint energy that pulsed from his body. It was stronger now. His soul, his true essence, and was waking up. She could feel it in her chest, like a heartbeat that wasn't hers. She whispered, "It's you. I can feel you, my son." But she wasn't the only one watching. A few blocks away, inside a black surveillance van, 2 government agents monitored the same signal. Screens showed maps and energy readings from the city. "Target is active," one of them said. "The alien's energy pattern is showing near the orphanage again." The other frowned. "And that kid she keeps scanning? What's special about him?" "We don't know yet," the first replied. "But she's protecting him. That means he's important." Soraya didn't know how close the danger was. She moved closer to the orphanage, blending into the crowd. Her human disguise flickered slightly under the morning light, but no one noticed. She stood across the street, watching the children play in the yard. When Eli ran out, chasing a paper airplane, her heart almost stopped. He looked so human, the way he smiled, the way he ran. And yet, she could see the faint blue shimmer around him. It was the same energy that once glowed in her arms when she held him as a baby. The same light she had buried in her heart for 3 long years. Soraya stepped closer. Her scanner vibrated wildly. "Energy match 97%, it whispered in her language. Tears filled her eyes. She had found him. Truly found him. But before she could approach, Eli suddenly stopped running. His eyes turned toward her, calm but curious, as if he already knew who she was. The paper airplane landed between them. Soraya bent down, picked it up, and held it out to him. "Yours?" she asked softly. Eli nodded, his voice small. "Thank you." Their fingers brushed for a second, and when the air shimmered faintly, blue light flashed around them, invisible to everyone else. In that one touch, something passed between them. Memories, warmth, a connection beyond time. Eli gasped. For a moment, he saw a different world in his mind. Red skies, tall silver trees, and a glowing figure holding him close. Her voice echoed, "My heart, my light, my son." Then it was gone. Eli blinked and stepped back. "Who are you?" he asked. Soraya smiled faintly. "Someone who has missed you for a very long time." But before she could say more, loud voices shouted nearby. Men in black uniforms appeared at the corner, moving fast. Soraya's scanner beeped. Human soldiers armed and closing in. Her heart raced. "No," she whispered. "Not again." She grabbed Eli's hand. "We must go." Eli hesitated, confused and scared. "Go where?" "Somewhere safe," she said, pulling him toward the alley. But the soldiers were faster. They surrounded the area, shouting orders. People screamed and ran. Soraya raised her hand. A wave of blue energy burst from her palm, throwing the soldiers back without hurting them. Sparks flashed, lights broke, and sirens wailed. Eli stared at her, eyes wide. "What are you?" Soraya looked at him, tears shining in her eyes. "I am your mother, Eli, and they will not take you again." The soldiers regrouped, aiming their weapons. "Stand down." one yelled. Soraya turned, her voice fierce and calm. You don't understand what you're fighting. Her wrist device glowed, sending a silent signal to her ship high above the clouds. In a flash of blue light, she and Eli disappeared, gone from the human world in less than a second. When the light faded, the soldiers stood frozen. The only thing left was the paper airplane, still glowing faintly with a soft blue hue. Miles away, inside an abandoned warehouse, Soraya and Eli reappeared. He was shaking, staring at her in disbelief. "Mother?" he whispered. Soraya knelt beside him, placing her hand over his heart. "Yes," she said softly. "I lost you once. I will never lose you again." But deep inside, she knew this was only the beginning. Humans had seen her power. The government would not stop. And now they knew the truth. The alien was not here to destroy Earth. She was here for a child. Outside in the distance, sirens began to echo again. Soraya looked out through the broken window toward the sky. "They will come," she whispered. "But so will I." Eli stood beside her, still trembling but no longer afraid. The same blue light began to glow faintly in his eyes. The bond had awakened, and somewhere deep in a hidden base, the agent stared at the footage in silence. "She took the boy," one said. The other whispered, "Then the war has already begun." The city was quiet again, but only for a moment. Police sirens echoed in the distance, flashing red and blue against the night sky. In an old broken warehouse at the edge of town, Soraya stood beside Eli, her hands trembling. The air around them still shimmered from the energy that had saved them. Eli sat on the cold floor, holding his head. "What happened?" he whispered. "Where are we?" Soraya looked at him with soft eyes. "Safe, for now." She walked to the cracked window and stared out. She could see the city lights far away, bright, alive, and unaware of the war that was about to begin. Eli looked at her again. "You said you're my mother, but that's not possible." Soraya turned back slowly. "I am not from this world, Eli. You are not fully human either. You were born from both worlds, mine and theirs." Eli shook his head, scared. "That's crazy." But deep down, something inside him whispered that she was right. His dreams, his strange drawings, the feeling that he didn't belong, it all made sense now. Soraya knelt beside him. 3 years ago, during a great battle near this planet, I lost you. I searched every system, every colony, every human settlement. And now I've found you." Her eyes filled with tears. "But humans, they won't let us be together. They think I came to destroy them." Before Eli could reply, Soraya's wrist device beeped rapidly. Red light flashed. She froze. "They found us." Outside, several black vans screeched to a stop. Armed men jumped out, their footsteps echoing across the empty streets. Drones flew above, scanning for heat signatures. "Sector 9 clear," a soldier shouted. "Copy that," another replied. "Alien target confirmed inside." Soraya grabbed Eli's hand. "Stay close." She touched her wrist device and a wave of energy rippled outward. The walls of the warehouse shimmered, becoming transparent for a second before turning invisible. "A cloaking field," she said. "It will hide us, but not for long." Eli's eyes widened. "How do they keep finding us?" "They can track my energy," she said. "Every time I use my power, it leaves a mark. They're following the trail." Outside, the soldiers moved cautiously. Their scanners flickered. "We've got a distortion reading," one said. "Something's here." They fired a flare, a red pulse that sliced through the air and disrupted Soraya's cloak. The warehouse flickered into view. "Now," the commander shouted. Soraya reacted instantly. She raised her hand and a wave of blue energy exploded from her palm. The shockwave threw the soldiers back, their weapons flying into the air. But she didn't hurt them. She never did. She just wanted to escape. "Run, Eli," she cried. He ran beside her as they dashed through a side door into the alley. Drones followed, firing nets of electric light. Soraya turned, blasting one from the sky. The sparks lit up the night like fireworks. They ran through the maze of streets until they reached the river. The sound of helicopters filled the sky. Soraya looked at Eli. "Hold your breath," she said. "Why?" Before he could ask more, she pressed a button on her wrist. A bubble of blue energy surrounded them, and they dove straight into the water. Under the surface, everything went silent. The world above blurred into light and shadow. Eli looked around in wonder. They weren't drowning. They could breathe. Soraya's energy field kept them alive. They swam for what felt like hours, following the dark river until they reached the countryside far from the city. When they finally surfaced, it was almost dawn. The orange glow of sunrise spread over the hills. They climbed out soaked but alive. Eli looked at her, breathing hard. "They won't stop, will they?" Soraya shook her head. "No, but neither will I." They found shelter in an old farmhouse hidden between trees. Soraya repaired her scanner using pieces from broken machinery. As she worked, Eli sat by the window watching birds fly across the sky. "Do you ever miss your world?" he asked quietly. Soraya smiled sadly. "Every moment. My world was filled with light. We had no wars, no hunger. But we lost it all, and you are the only piece of it that still lives." Eli looked down at his hands. "Why me?" "Because you carry something special," she said softly. "Something that could save my people, or destroy them." Outside, in the distance, the hum of engines returned. The agents were still searching. One of them, a scientist named Dr. Kepler, watched the readings on his screen. He wasn't like the others. He didn't want to kill Soraya. He wanted to understand her. "Her energy doesn't match any weapon," he said to the commander. "She's not invading. She's protecting something." The commander frowned. "Then why is she running?" Kepler looked out the window. "Because we're giving her a reason to." Back at the farmhouse, Soraya stood at the door looking at the rising sun. Eli came to her side. "What happens now?" She looked at him with calm determination. "Now we run smarter. Not away, but toward the truth." Eli nodded, though he didn't understand. His body still felt strange, hot, electric. He could feel energy moving under his skin, whispering like a heartbeat that wasn't human. Soraya noticed. "It's starting," she said quietly. "What's starting?" "Your awakening. Your true self." A gust of wind blew through the open door. Eli looked up at the sky. For a moment his eyes shimmered blue, the same glow as hers. Far away, Dr. Kepler stared at the readings and whispered to himself, "The boy. He's the key." And in that silent sunrise, mother and child stood side by side, hunted by humans, connected by stars, and running out of time. The farmhouse stood silent under the gray morning sky. The air was still, broken only by the soft hum of Soraya's scanner. She sat at a wooden table, her eyes fixed on the glowing blue lights dancing across the small device. Each flicker represented Eli's energy, his heartbeat, his soul, his alien essence. Eli watched from the corner, his arms wrapped around his knees. "You keep staring at that thing," he said softly. "What are you looking for?" Soraya looked up, her face serious. "Answers," she said. "I need to understand why your energy keeps changing." She pressed a few buttons and a hologram appeared above the scanner, a spiral of light with threads of blue and gold twisting together. "This is your DNA," she explained. "Half human, half Zyran." Eli frowned. "So I'm both?" "Yes," Soraya said gently. "You were born between two worlds. You carry the strength of both species, but there is something more, something even I didn't expect." The hologram shifted. At the center of the spiral, a bright crystal pattern began to glow. Soraya's eyes widened. This shouldn't exist. What is it?" Eli asked. Soraya's voice trembled. "A key. A genetic code that can restart a dying planet. It was part of an ancient experiment, a way to rebuild our home if it ever fell." She looked at him, her face pale. "You are the last carrier of that code, Eli. You are my son, but you are also the heart of my world." Eli stepped back, shaking his head. "No, I'm just a kid." Soraya smiled sadly. "Maybe. But inside you is enough energy to bring life back to my people. Or to destroy this planet if it's used the wrong way." Outside, in the distance, a drone hovered high above the trees. Its red light blinked silently as it transmitted everything back to a secret underground base. Far away, in that base, Dr. Kepler watched the footage with growing fascination. "My God," he whispered. "The alien isn't invading us. She's protecting the boy because he carries something powerful." The commander beside him frowned. "Powerful enough to be a threat?" Kepler shook his head. "No. Powerful enough to change everything." They zoomed in on the DNA hologram from the transmission. "If we could extract that energy," the commander said slowly, "we could use it. Clean energy, unlimited power. We could rule the world." Kepler turned to him sharply. You don't understand. If you remove it, the boy dies. That code is part of him. The commander didn't care. Then we'll take it anyway. Back at the farmhouse, Soraya's ship sent a soft warning through her wrist device. Multiple energy signals detected. Human forces approaching. She looked up. They found us again. Eli ran to the window. In the distance, several black vehicles moved through the fields. Helicopters cut across the clouds. What do we do? He asked. Soraya's face hardened. We run, but this time we fight back. She opened a hidden compartment in her wristband, pulling out a small crystal sphere. It glowed with soft blue light. This will mask our energy trail for a while. But if they capture us, they'll take you away and try to unlock your code. Eli swallowed hard. If they take it, what happens to me? She looked into his eyes. You die, and this world dies with you. The sound of engines grew louder. Soraya grabbed Eli's hand. They ran through the fields as the first drone fired a net of plasma light. Soraya raised her hand. A flash of energy burst outward, burning the net to dust. They reached the forest edge, breathless. The scanner on her wrist flickered weakly. She had used too much energy. Her disguise flickered, revealing her true silver skin under the sunlight. Eli stared at her wide-eyed. You're beautiful, he said quietly. Soraya smiled faintly. You get that from me. They hid under a rocky cliff as soldiers spread across the field. Soraya placed her palm on the ground, sending a silent pulse through the soil. The earth vibrated, confusing the soldiers' scanners. For a moment they disappeared from radar. But back at the base, Dr. Kepler noticed the interference. She's using energy pulses to hide, he said. But if we overload her frequency, she won't be able to cloak again. The commander nodded. Do it, Kepler hesitated. Sir, she's trying to protect the boy. That's an order, the commander snapped. Kepler looked away, guilt filling his face. He pressed the button. In the forest, Soraya suddenly gasped. Her wrist device sparked violently. They're jamming us, she said. They've learned my frequency. She tried to shield Eli, but her disguise completely failed now. Her true alien form glowed under the trees. Helicopters appeared overhead, spotlights cutting through the branches. Soldiers surrounded them, shouting. Hands up! Don't move, Soraya turned to Eli. No matter what happens, don't let them touch you. But before she could act, a stun blast hit her shoulder. She fell to her knees, blue light leaking from her skin. Eli screamed and tried to reach her, but two soldiers grabbed him. Mom! He cried. Soraya reached for him weakly. Don't be afraid, she whispered. Remember who you are. The soldiers dragged Eli toward a helicopter. Soraya tried to stand, but another blast knocked her down. The world around her dimmed. The last thing she saw was Eli's terrified face as the doors closed. Then, silence. When Soraya woke again, she was chained in a cold metal room. Her energy was low. Across from her stood Dr. Kepler. He looked at her not with anger but sorrow. You shouldn't have come to Earth, he said quietly. They're going to take the boy apart. Soraya's voice was hoarse. If they do, they will destroy everything, your world and mine. Kepler looked down ashamed. Then tell me how to stop them. Soraya met his eyes, her voice trembling but strong. You can't stop them, but I can. Outside, alarms blared as preparations began for Project Genesis, the extraction of the alien code from the child. And somewhere in a dark laboratory, Eli opened his eyes. His body glowed faintly blue. He wasn't afraid anymore. Something deep within him had awakened. The underground facility was buried miles beneath the earth, built of steel, concrete, and fear. Inside, bright white lights burned day and night, and machines hummed with cold precision. In the center of the main laboratory, behind a wall of glass, a young boy sat strapped to a metal table. Eli. His eyes were open, glowing faintly blue. Wires and scanners surrounded him, reading every pulse of his energy. Scientists moved nervously around him, whispering, afraid of what they were about to unleash. Dr. Kepler stood among them, his face pale. You have no idea what you're doing, he told the commander. If you extract that energy, you won't just kill him. You'll rip a hole through everything. The commander didn't listen. Begin the sequence. Alarm sounded as the machines powered up. A giant ring of light formed above Eli, spinning faster and faster. His body arched as the air crackled with power. Stop, Kepler shouted. You'll kill us all. Meanwhile, deep in the next cell block, Soraya was chained to a wall. Her wrists bled blue light where the restraints cut into her skin. Her eyes were closed, but her mind was awake. She could feel Eli's pain, every spark, every scream, every heartbeat. Her child was dying, and she was helpless. A tear rolled down her cheek. No, not again. Her wrist device, long deactivated, flickered weakly. The crystal within it glowed and responding to her will. She whispered an ancient Zyran command, "Break." The chains exploded in a burst of blue fire. The energy burned through walls and alarms. Guards ran in shouting, but Soraya was already moving, her eyes glowing brighter than ever. She walked through the corridors, each step heavy with power. Metal bent under her touch, cameras shattered as she passed. Her voice echoed through the halls like thunder. "Where is my son?" The guards opened fire, bullets slicing through the air, but none reached her. They turned to dust before touching her. She lifted her hand and a wave of energy swept through the hallway, knocking everyone down but leaving them alive. In the control room, red lights flashed. "Containment breach," someone shouted. "The alien is free." Dr. Kepler turned toward the screen showing the corridors. When he saw her, he froze. "She's going to him," he whispered, "and nothing will stop her." He ran out of the lab and swiped his card at the security gate. The door opened just as Soraya reached it. For a long moment, they faced each other. "Dr. Kepler," she said calmly, "help me, or die with them." He looked into her eyes and saw something that wasn't hate, only love and pain. He nodded. "Follow me." They ran through the corridors toward the lab. Every door they passed unlocked with a wave of her hand. When they reached the observation room, Kepler stopped. "He's inside," he said. "They've already started the extraction." Through the glass, Soraya saw her son screaming, light bursting from his body like fire. The ring above him spun faster, pulling his energy out. She could see his life fading. "No," she whispered. Her voice broke. "That's enough." She stepped forward and raised both hands. The glass wall shattered into dust. Scientists screamed and ran. The commander grabbed his gun and fired, but the bullets stopped midair. Soraya's eyes burned with light. "You heard him," she said softly. "Now you will remember that pain." She walked past him, ignoring his screams as the energy from her body shorted every machine in the room. Sparks exploded, wires melted, alarms screamed. Eli looked up weakly. "Mother." Soraya knelt beside him, her hands glowing. "I'm here, my heart. You're safe now." She touched his chest and a wave of energy passed between them. The machines exploded one by one. Kepler shielded his face as the room filled with blue light. Soraya tried to heal him, but her eyes filled with sorrow. "They've taken too much. You're fading." Eli shook his head weakly. "You can fix it. You always fix everything." Her hand trembled as she touched his face. "Not this time. The only way to save you is to give you what remains of me." Eli's eyes widened. "No," she smiled softly. "You are the future, Eli. You are what both our worlds need. Live for both." She pressed her glowing palm to his heart. The energy flowed out of her body into his. Pure, bright, endless. The ground shook, the walls cracked, and light filled the entire facility. Dr. Kepler fell to his knees, staring in awe as the blue light rose toward the ceiling like a storm. The machines melted, the roof tore apart, and the energy shot into the sky, a pillar of light that could be seen for miles. When it ended, the room was silent. Smoke curled through the air. Eli lay on the floor, breathing slowly, his skin glowing faintly with her energy. Soraya was gone. Only a faint shimmer of light floated above him, her voice whispering, soft and distant. "My son, live free." Dr. Kepler stood up, shaking. He looked at Eli and whispered, "She gave her life for you. Don't waste it." The boy opened his eyes. They shone brighter than before, deep blue, calm, full of power. He stood, and the remaining lights in the room flickered on their own. He didn't cry. He only looked toward the sky through the broken roof. Somewhere beyond the clouds he could feel her. Not gone, but watching. A single crystal lay on the floor where she had vanished, glowing softly. Eli picked it up and held it close to his heart. "I will make you proud," he whispered. Above the ruined base, the storm clouds parted and a single beam of sunlight broke through, warm and peaceful. The war between humans and aliens was over. But a new destiny had just begun. The world above the destroyed base had changed forever. For hours after the explosion, the sky glowed faint blue, and the wind carried a soft hum, like a heartbeat that belonged to the planet itself. Humans all over the world looked up and saw it, wondering what had happened. No one could explain it, but something deep inside every living being felt different, lighter, calmer, alive. Far beneath that same sky, a boy stood in the ruins holding a small glowing crystal in his hand. Eli, his mother's last gift. Her voice still echoed in his heart. "My son, live free." Dr. Kepler had escaped the wreckage with him. He looked at Eli, awe filling his tired eyes. "You shouldn't be alive," he said softly. Eli looked at him and smiled faintly. "She saved me." Kepler nodded. "She saved all of us." They walked away from the ruins together. Behind them, the base sank into the earth, swallowed by light and silence. Years passed. Eli grew up far from the city, hidden from the world that once hunted him. Kepler became his guardian, his teacher, and his only link to the truth. Together they studied the crystal, the last fragment of Saraya's power. It glowed softly in Eli's hand, reacting to his touch. "It's alive," he said one day. Kepler smiled. "No, you are. That crystal is only a part of her, and the rest is inside you." Eli learned fast. His energy grew stronger, but he never used it for war. He used it for healing. Plants grew where he walked. Rivers cleared when he touched the water. He could sense pain, anger, and fear, and calm them with a single breath. News began to spread. Across the world, people whispered of a mysterious young man who could speak to nature, who stopped storms, healed forests, and made dying lands bloom again. Governments tried to find him, but Eli stayed hidden. He didn't need fame. He only needed purpose, the purpose his mother had given her life for. One night he stood alone on a hill under the stars, the crystal glowing in his palm. "Mother," he whispered, "I'm doing it. I'm fixing what they broke." The wind blew softly, and for a moment, he felt warmth on his cheek, like a gentle hand touching him. Years turned into decades. Under Eli's quiet influence, the world began to heal. Cities learned to use clean energy, born from the same technology Saraya had once carried. Scientists, guided by fragments of her old designs left by Kepler, built machines that purified air and water. The planet grew green again. People stopped fighting over what was left. They started rebuilding together, slowly, cautiously, learning that life was more valuable than control. And through it all, Eli watched from the shadows, a silent guardian. He looked older now, though his eyes never lost their glow. When people saw him, they said his presence felt peaceful, like standing near something sacred. Some even called him the Blue One, or the Child of the Stars. He never told them who he really was. Sometimes when the world was quiet, he would sit beneath the night sky, the crystal beside him. "You were right," he would whisper. Love did save them. But one night something changed. The crystal began to pulse again, brighter than it had in years. Eli picked it up, confused. The light spread through his fingers, and for a moment he heard a voice. Soft, distant, but clear. "My son." His breath caught. "Mother?" The sky above shimmered with faint blue lines. The stars rearranged themselves, forming the same pattern Saraya used to draw on her ship, the sign of the Ziran race. Eli stood up, staring at the sky. The crystal lifted from his hand, floating upward, glowing brighter and brighter until it disappeared into the clouds, and then, far beyond the stars, something awakened. On a quiet alien world, long abandoned and dead, light began to bloom again. Plants sprouted where dust had ruled. The sky filled with color. In the center of it all, a single beam of blue energy took shape, the form of a woman with silver skin and soft eyes. Saraya. She opened her eyes slowly, breathing for the first time in years. Her body shimmered like starlight. She looked toward the distant glow of Earth and smiled. "You did it, my son," she whispered. "You healed them." "And me?" Back on Earth, Eli stood on the same hill where he had once made his promise. He looked up, feeling her presence in the wind, in the stars, in every heartbeat of the planet. He smiled, tears shining in his eyes. "Goodbye, Mother," he said softly. Or maybe, "Hello again." He raised his hand, and the sky above answered, glowing with thousands of tiny blue lights. Each one pulsed like a heartbeat, alive with Soraya's energy. The people below looked up, amazed, believing it was a miracle. And perhaps it was. For in that moment, every human, every creature, and every corner of the earth shared the same rhythm. One pulse. One breath, one hope. Eli closed his eyes. The wind wrapped around him like an embrace. The voice came again, soft and loving. Across every world, my child, love is stronger than fear. And even when I'm gone, I am never truly gone. The camera rises toward the sky, blue light spreading across the stars, forming the shape of a mother holding her child. Then it fades to black. Text on screen. For 3 years, an alien mother searched every human until she found the one. And through him, she found all of humanity. The end.